11 and Saturday and go. First name. Oh.
Yeah, that sucks a little fast.
So yeah, it's off the bus.
Oh, yeah, got it. Now it is 6 o'clock.
I'm interested.
Now it's 6. Yep.
Thanks. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We'll open the council meeting with Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call of the council, please. I know we're short tonight.
Smith,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Arsano,
Here.
Burbank,
Here.
Ferguson, absent, Bender, absent, Green, absent.
Entertain a motion to excuse 3 council members.
Motion to excuse Bender, Green, and Ferguson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
We have any additions, deletions, corrections this evening?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
And just let me know.
I will.
If Connie comes online. Okay. Well, we're gonna start this evening with a announcement, street naming. Read this, should have practiced this more, but one of Buckley's longstanding traditions is naming streets in honor of various community members who have donated countless hours or years to serving our city. Formerly a town. I guess we're a big city now. This tradition reflects the deep gratitude we have for those who make Buckley the vibrant and caring place it is today. As mayor, one of my priorities this year is to provide more formal recognition to these extraordinary individuals who have shaped our community through their service. Tonight, we are honored to continue that tradition by recognizing Bob Britschke, whose contributions have left a lasting impact on Buckley. Bob served on the Buckley Fire Department for almost 24 years, achieving the rank of assistant chief, and also served in Lewis County for Adna, or for the county out at Adna way. Beyond his dedication to public safety, Bob was also deeply involved in the Log Show and the Log Show Committee and was a Bull of the Woods in 2010. Tonight, we are joined by Bob's family as we dedicate a local road in the Spiketon Plat in his honor. This street will serve as a permanent tribute to his legacy in the city of Buckley. We are proud to present his family with a commemorative street sign and a certificate that reads, in recognition, in recognition of a lifetime of extraordinary dedication and volunteer service to the Buckley community. The city of Buckley proudly designates Britschke Street in honor of these lasting contributions which have shaped our city. This street will serve as a permanent tribute and a legacy of generosity, service, and love for the community. Tonight, we thank Bob for his incredible service and are deeply grateful to his family for sharing him with our community. His legacy will continue to inspire us all. And with that, if you guys would like to come up and take pictures or however you'd like to do this, I've got a certificate and where's the straight side?
Yeah.
None of the other council members want to be in there, Ron, like.
Outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Not yours.
No, that's yours.
Well, that's yours. That is yours. You guys can pass that around or what. We're gonna weld them up there.
Mayor, we have council members Ferguson and Bender on Zoom now.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you, my dad would be, you guys don't even imagine how much it would be.
Lots of years of service. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
you bet.
Thank you guys.
Okay, we have Councilmember Bender and Councilmember Bergerson. on-
Ferguson has no voice
Oh.
and will not be speaking, but she does
She'll
want
be
to
listening.
listen.
Okay, public comments. Do we have anybody?
Megan,
Oh, okay. Megan, please.
This is an easy one. I am here because for the last 15+ years, I've been the treasurer of White River Community Scholarships. Kenny, I think you had a student who had a scholarship recently. Chris Banks's daughter got a scholarship through us, as well as Chris's father, which was
Oh,
before
cute.
my time.
Yep.
Anyway, I am just coming here. We do not do any fundraisers. We just ask for donations from our community. And we have been very lucky to be able to give out about $60,000+ a year. So today I am here to just pass this out and ask you if you are so inclined. There is no donation that is too large or too small. We would appreciate it.
Okay.
And there's also included in here, just as encouragement to open the envelope, it's candy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got.
Super. We have anybody else that would like to speak this evening? Have anybody else signed up?
Mm.
Okay, Marvin? No, okay. Okay, we'll move into committee reports. Senior Citizen Advisory Commission.
Denise gave it to me, so it should be at all your spots.
Oh,
I
okay.
printed it out for her. That's
Do you
all
want me
we
to
have.
read it for her? or-
Sure, that'd be
Okay.
great.
That said that I got.
So their meeting was on 1/8/25. Director Banks went over the public works projects for 2025 and the transportation improvement plan and answered any questions the commission members had. 21 applicants were received for the open position at the senior center. The first round one interviews will take place on Thursday, January 16th. Aaron went over the year-end membership report. There are 272 members actively participating in events and programs. 62% are over the age of 75 and 66% are female. There were 7,166 check-ins throughout the year. 4,482 were check-ins for socializing, 3,709 for meals. There were 1,836 bingo sessions and 1,013 yoga classes. 77 members utilize the transportation services, accounting for 894 van trips to and from the center. 24 volunteers dedicated 2,215 hours to the success of the center. The 2025 work plan was discussed and scholarship fund policy was discussed.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Ron.
Quick question. I recently was made aware of a project. It's in the pipes through our building and planning office for additional senior housing down off of Spike in and A there. And I don't recall that ever being brought up here, or how did that even come up? And how was that being funded? Just curious.
Well, didn't we donate through the ARPA fund like 15,000 for their stud?
We did. The last I heard, the additional units, they were still in the process of fundraising for them. I'm not aware if we've received any permit applications, but I will look into that and absolutely follow up.
I thought there was a public notice.
a public notice put up.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
public notice right in front of it,
Okay,
and it's been on Facebook
Yeah.
pages in town here.
okay, great. I will get some additional information and share.
Super. Okay, Citizens Advisory Commission, Councilmember Anderson.
Yep, we met last night. The meeting started with just Director Snodgrass going through the end of the year youth center review. Overall showing a major increase in participation. She had mentioned their like digital check-in format this last year was able to kind of get better data from that. So she had a full breakdown, which was awesome. And takeaway from that she shared was in the end of year survey that she shares with all of the participants coming in, that 96% of the participants coming felt like the youth center was a safe and welcoming place. And so that was great to hear. That's what that's there for. So that was awesome. They just went through, new business was updating park rules. So really focusing in, we are going to have a dog park here in Buckley. So focusing in on getting rules established for that and then re-looking at our rules at the skate park just to make sure that we are following the code, especially for law enforcement to be able to enforce some things in there. And then they looked again at their park enhancement policy draft. And that was overall, it was a pretty quick meeting. It was nice to just get back with that group. Their next meeting is February 24th. And then right after our next meeting, they meet with us jointly at our city council meeting. So February 25th is that joint meeting and they look forward to it.
Okay, super. Thank you. Into consent agenda.
On tonight's consent agenda is the approval of the minutes of the October 1st, 2024 City Council study session and claims and payroll.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Regular agenda, first resolution.
Item 1 is resolution number 25-01 declaring surplus property.
Move to approve the resolution 25-01 declaring surplus property.
Second,
Okay, and Chief Scogan is here. If anybody has any questions for the two, I think we have 2 units that on the list to surplus. And I think they both read ambulance.
Yeah, so we have a 2000, the first one that we'll talk about was purchased by the city back in 2005. It's a 6-liter Ford. There's been problems since day one. With the acceptance of the new 2024 Dodge ambulance, the unit's no longer necessary. We took it to Fugit because Buckley Automotive actually said it was beyond their scope. We were given about $11,000 estimate to make it run the way it should, which exceeds the value of the vehicle today. So we'd like to recommend that be surplused. The 2001 ambulance is currently based out of the Wilkeson Fire Station, but also owned by the city. We purchased that used for $5,000 or less from Maple Valley roughly a decade ago. East Pierce Fire and Rescue's begun donating newer ambulances to the towns of Wilkeson and Carbonado. That makes that unit obsolete as well.
Super. Any questions for Chief? Comments? Thank you, sir. All right, this is standard, all in favor,
aye.
all opposed.
Motion carries. Next item is Safe Streets for All Comprehensive Safety Action Plan Engineering Services Proposal.
Move to approve the engineering service proposal for the safety action plan, engineering service proposals.
Second.
And any questions, comments,
I didn't realize
concerns?
Dom was gonna be here, so.
Yep, Dom's here as well as Courtney for questions, if you have any. Safe Streets we've been through. This is an annual, almost annual thing we do.
Yeah, the Safe Streets for All grant is the federal funding that we received for primarily 410, but it will be a citywide project looking at safe streets and improvements that we can make in order to make our streets safer.
Okay. Kenny,
Don't we have to do the safe streets to be able to get, we have to do this to be able to get the funding or grant funding later? They base it off the list of our findings.
No, this is the engineering plan to have Gray and Osborne be the agent that completes the study that we have received the grant fund for. So we've accepted the grant, and now this is the formal contract with Gray and Osborne to do the work to fulfill the grant obligations, which is completing the study.
Ron,
Is this for the roundabouts? So Park, Maine. I'm really enjoying going to Bonnie Lake. I really, and well, I just wish they'd finished both lanes, but
A portion, I think about $75,000, is a sub-consultant to Grant Osborne called the Transpo Group. They're going to do the traffic modeling, which are the animated presentations that show with the signal right now with the new roundabout, roundabouts, multiple or enhanced signals. They're going to go through an alternatives analysis and show, you know, this is what happens. This is how the peak traffic gets through these. So it's a multi nodal is what they call it. Transportation modeling with the animation. It's something that this company does. So there'll be presentations. The public will be able to see it so that it's not necessarily a done deal, that it's all roundabouts. It's studied further to optimize it. And within roundabouts, there's not just one. There's not just one type. Is it one lane? Is it two lane? Do you have a slip lane for a right turn lane? How does it interact with other ones? So there's, and then we'll be looking at, you know, okay, if these things get bigger and bigger, what does that mean? Does that mean you're gonna have to buy property, right-of-way acquisition, in order to facilitate this? Some of these intersections are a little tight. And as you can see, the one in Bonnie Lake, and, you know, they're not small a lot of the time. So we're looking at that as well. And just briefly back to you, Kenny, that you do have to have an approved comprehensive safety action plan to be eligible for the construction money through this same SS4A program. They have an implementation phase, which if you do this, the planning stage, then you're eligible, which really gives the city another iron in the fire besides PSRC and the state. That there could be some federal money coming. So as usual, a long answer to a short question.
well, I think that's gonna be beneficial for both we, the council, and the public to be able to see this comparison.
Yep.
It's gonna be like a video presentation. I think that's gonna be outstanding to be able to see how it flows, because right now, the biggest complaint ever was the slog from Enumclaw over here, and so the switch was to keep the runtime longer. And if anybody's on the east side or the west side and want to cross, you're now held hostage, and I get it, but you got to keep that traffic flowing. So, no, I think it's an outstanding, thank you for that explanation. That's very informative.
perfect. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, thanks, Tom. All right. I suppose we'll vote. All in favor,
Aye.
all opposed,
Motion carries.
and staff reports.
I have additional information about the senior housing project. So we received the application just after the first of the year. So kudos to our permitting department for already getting the SEPA determination of non-significance issued. That shows you that permitting is working really well. What we've received so far is a site plan review application as well as a SEPA application. These applications come through and are approved first by the hearing examiner as well as by local agencies, prior to them coming in for building permits. So the SEPA specifically, once vested, is good really in perpetuity. And then our site plan review is good for 18 months to 5 years, depending on the hearing examiner decision and the nature of the project. So it looks like they've applied for a 10-unit complex. I had spoken to one of their committee members recently, and I know that they had been working with HUD to get some funds. And so I'm not sure if those funds have come through yet, but I'll get an update on that as well. Also excited to share that our passport services have been very busy at the beginning of this year and towards the end of last year. Last year overall, we had an income of about $19,000 after accounting for staff costs, but already this year we're over double what we saw in January of 2024. Some of that might be due to the new travel requirements. So if you need a passport, come on in. We are not booking too far out, but we are starting to see increased wait times too for passports. And then we have extended an offer for the senior center coordinator position. So hopefully we will have some good news to share in that regard soon as well. That's all for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we have another round of public comments. If anybody would like to speak for up to 3 minutes.
I was wondering, I see the signs that say save the school. Anybody know what that's about?
Oh, the Rainier State School?
Yeah.
I can comment on that. if
Yeah,
you would
please.
Like, the Rainier State School was included in the governor's budget to no longer be funded. So we have met with Rainier State School. I know, the Chamber of Commerce has also met with Rainier State School. Right now, this is just a proposal that was made from Governor Inslee and is still working its way through legislative session, which I think the first day of legislative session was January 13th. So they're still undergoing their entire process. We don't know what's going to happen yet, and neither does the state school. They were notified essentially the day that the budget was released from what we heard from their representatives. So we'll stay on top of that process. But we've been reassured that if it was to move forward with the proposed closure, it would take several years for anything to work out that way, and likely be redeveloped as another use for the state.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep, you bet. Anybody else? Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay. All right, on to council member comments and go to the order. Okay. I'll just add in here, I forgot about this, just for posterity, I guess. Bob Britschke, they used to live right in town and then they moved out onto Spiketon. So the new road, Britschke will be right almost adjacent to where he last lived. But Ashley shared this with me that Bob used to task Doug, his son, to run to the station to pull the bell because they had, and this is before my time too, Eric, and I talked about this earlier today, but there was maybe a half a dozen firemen in town that had a separate phone in their house, and it was like a party line. So when the call came in, they could pick it up, and then somebody had to get to the station and ring the bell. And then there was a ticker tape that would read off where the address, where they were going to. And so this is all before my time, but it was just funny that Doug, as a young boy, was like, okay, you're faster, get down there and ring the bell, and so on and so forth. So I was going to share that. But yeah, with that, any other council member comments to the order? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, council.
Yep.